Hello everyone, welcome back to the New Bedford Let's Play Board Game Edition preview review. In this review, I'll be using a print and play, so I will not be covering component quality because I am using my own paper and meeples, so that would make no sense. New Bedford is a game that's a bunch of simple mechanics that combine together to make a really deep game. It's easy to learn, so it's great for beginner players, but it has a lot to it. So experienced players will really enjoy it as well. The game takes approximately 20 minutes a player, so that gives you a time frame for how long a game will take. New Bedford is a worker placement game, which I'll admit gives it a slight edge because I really love worker placement games. That being said, it is quite different than most other worker placement games I have played. I'd say probably the first and biggest difference that is really noticeable is the fact that no matter how many players they are, each player only gets 2 workers. And there is not a way in the game to permanently increase this number, which is really weird. Which means every single placement is extremely important because you don't get that many of them. Also, usually the focus of a worker placement game is a mix somewhere between completing all your goals and shutting down your opponents so that they can't complete theirs. New Bedford pretty much gets rid of that, pretty much completely, because all the actions on both the town board and the whaling board can accommodate any number of workers. The only real blocking, call it that maybe, occurs if you know your opponent really needs the bonus to complete their action. Now, buildings, on the other hand, are blockable, because only one player can use them per turn. But really, while they're more efficient, everything you can do using buildings can pretty much be accomplished by using the main board. So you're really slowing down your opponent, not really blocking them per se. So usually it's better to take your few actions and do what's best for you, and if it hurts your opponent, that's great. Now, New Bedford is good with any number of players, but personally, in my opinion, I think more players are better for this game. Because more players means more buildings, which adds a whole lot of variety. Also, more players means you're more boats at sea, which means you draw more whale tiles, which can kind of help mitigate the luck aspect of the drawing the tiles. Also, with more players, there's more of a fight over resources so that players can build buildings. It takes a little longer for that, which helps lower the power of the building strategy, which is extremely prevalent in two-player games. In a two-player game, it is completely viable to stay at land, not go to sea at all, and just build buildings and score points and win that way. And that means the player completely ignores the whaling aspect for which the game is supposedly based. So I'm not a huge fan of that. I really like how the designer worked the whaling aspect into the game. In fact, I'd probably say it's my #1 favorite part of the game, because it really mimics whaling in real life. The farther you go out, and the longer your boats stay out at sea, the better your chances are getting the big catches and racking up points. Overall, I think New Bedford is a great game for both new players as well as veteran ones. Also, there's a lot of player interaction, but it's without being too aggressive, so I think both combative and passive players can get a lot out of the game as well. The replay value of the print and play that I played is pretty good, but I think with all the buildings and the mini expansions that the Kickstarter is adding, the replay value of New Bedford is going to be amazing. And it does all that without distracting you from the really well implemented theme. All said and done, I highly recommend New Bedford for all players. That's all for my preview review. I hope to see you in the playthrough video, but if not, please remember to share, like, and subscribe, and as always, remember to stay geeky.